Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Red-Rupee Cast featuring Dawn of War 2 Retribution. We've got a nice 2 versus 2 map here for you on Medean Cliff Mines, and should be a nice action-packed game, nice high-level play. Anyways, while I'm talking about 2 versus 2, I'd like to mention that GameReplays.org just started their sign-ups for their Dawn of War 2 Retribution 2 versus 2 Open Tournament happening 2 weekends from now on November 19th through the 21st. The sign-ups are on right now. I'll put up a link up here, and I'll add one in the description for the video as well to check out that article and go sign up. If you got any friend that you like to play with a lot and you think you're pretty nice at 2 versus 2, go ahead, head over there, sign up. Doesn't matter if you're not pro or top tier or whatever. If you think you're good, give it a shot. You never know. Tournaments are lots of fun. You get to meet cool people. Worst case scenario, you go in, lose a game, learn something, and meet some cool folks. So best case scenario, you get a lot further than you thought, and who knows? Anyone can take it. So let's go ahead and take a look at our map, Medean Cliff Mines. We're going to roll up right here to the center victory point. This is my favorite spot. Kind of a Calderas-like entrance right here. Just a big open area with that center victory point. Lots of green cover all around, and 4 choke points coming in from either side. So that really kind of limits the entrance to who can get into this center point. If you lock this down, it's really difficult to take that point. And the opposing natural points for either side right in front of the opposing player's base with a power node right next to it. These are the natural power and VPs for both sides right here happening. And then there's a couple stray wreck points on either side. I like this dynamic of the map right over here. Just a nice, secure, some bunkers and an installation over here. I think that's a really neat part of the map. Just thought I'd point that out. I don't know. I like the maps. I've always liked how much that Relic puts into the design of all the maps and their different spots here. So let's stop my rambling about nice, pretty video game things and take a look at our players. We've got Simply Happy on the blue team here as our not-so-happy Chaos Lord hanging out on the top side of the map. And then over here we've got our War Boss as GHG Divinity. And on the red side, we've got GHG, also Adila, maybe a bit of a little internal clan battle here, and Bugs everywhere as our Space Marine Force Commander. Hopefully he's referring to, you know, a Tyrannid Swarm, and not the game Dawn of War 2 as far as bugs are concerned. So let's get this game on the road, shall we? And see how this plays out. So we've got our Intrepid Force Commander here, with his nicely received buffs this patch, turning him into a force to be reckoned with. And also GHG Adila, the Warp Spider, of course, always full of tricks and nasty surprises for the enemy. Warps around, has all kinds of different war gears that cause all sorts of trouble. And then on the other side, you know, both the War Boss and the Chaos Lord, just very tanky, big, nasty melee commanders. So probably going to be a bit of a trouble for the opposing team, trying to keep both of those guys out of the fight and from doing too much damage. As far as cap and build orders go, you can see both players grabbing, or all 4 players really, grabbing all their natural power. And a couple Shooter Boys coming in for Divinity. Banshee's coming up on this War Boss for the first battle right here. He does a stump, a nice dodge by Adila, taking no damage on those Banshees and moving in for the kill on the War Boss. The double Shooter Boys probably be able to take them out, but that War Boss does have to be very careful. They're going to chase him down and not quite get that kill. They were down to about half HP. They probably would have started losing members on approach up there, so it looks like Divinity's getting pushed back by Adila right now. Meanwhile, scouts out of position, finding themselves behind Heretics and Chaos Marines, and I like what Bugs Everywhere did. Instead of just retreating out of panic for seeing they're out of position, he goes ahead and just loops way around with those scouts, which are going to be able to easily outrun those Heretics and stuff, and maybe going to scout behind there. And just anytime you can get away with running away without retreating in this game is generally a good thing. So never want to panic and hit that retreat button if you don't need to. Not too much going on in the center. It looks like the red team's managed to secure it for right now. Always good to grab that center. And it looks like the scouts did eventually get pushed out of there, but that did waste some time, if nothing else, and allow the red team to take the center while blue had to try to chase those scouts around and keep them from decapping anything in the rear of the map there. So anyways, we have one squad of big shooters on the field for Divinity, and he's going to go ahead and push in here. I'm not sure that's a good idea, though. Both players for the red side are in the middle right now, so he's going to find himself pincered between some Banshees and Tactical Marines here in a moment if Happy can't get these engaged. So both heroes and both armies in the center right now. We do have Tactical Marines. Looks like everything's converging on this Force Commander. Adila needs to get in and help his fellow battle mate out here. But it looks like those Tacts are going to have to get out of there, and the Force Commander is going to be in a bit of trouble as well with those Heretics charging in. And the Banshees are going to get shredded by all this range damage if they don't back off right away. So ultimately, the blue team managed to get in and support themselves and stop from getting pincered there. And managed to tag quite a few Banshees there as well. So taking a look, it looks like a Shuriken platform's moving into the center and going to be able to stop this war boss. Unfortunately, these Chaos Space Marines and of course the Chaos Lord himself, who's immune to suppression, going to be able to move in, aiming what's that being fired on top of that Shuriken platform, suppressing, and it's going to have to retreat. Nice counter push by blue there. After losing the center, which is generally kind of tough to get back. Early game is the time to do it before anyone gets locked down. Meanwhile, it looks like a nice grenade went off on these Slugger boys. I heard that just before I came over here, and the blue team did, however, manage to cap red team's natural power, and they're going to get a nice little power boost off of there. They didn't have the time to destroy it with the one Slugger squad, so pretty good move to cap it. This Warp Spider getting very low. He needs to be very careful. Oh, got out of there just in time as those two big shooters were pounding on him. Shuriken platform's going to go in and probably be able to get these shooter boys out of here. Meanwhile, up top, it looks like Happy was routed from that side of the map. Salt Marines on the field now for bugs everywhere, and Scout's going to be able to take control of the top victory point once again. Adila very quickly disposing of that power node and taking back their natural power, but the blue team, as you can see right now, going to have a pretty nice power advantage. Divinity already able to skyrocket into Tier 2. And meanwhile, the Force Commander is brawling with both heroes right now. You can see getting knocked down by that War Boss. These Tacts are just trying to deal with both the Chaos Lord and the War Boss. And both players, again, over here just trying to protect this power farm from harass. Some Tactical Marines going down to an excellent Doom Blast. They're down to one model. Not looking good for them right now, but I think they'll be all right. But ultimately, bugs everywhere did have to fall back. And now Adila taking advantage, noticing that both players were on that side, is going ahead and moving in to capture both of these points on this side of the map. All four players look like they now have fully upgraded power farms. And the blue team just moving together in a pack here. Again, this Chaos Lord needs to get focused down. Doesn't look like that Shuriken's going to be able to handle it, though. And it does get engaged. With all that range fire, it needs to get out of there once again. Unfortunately, just being a bit too far forward both times it's been out there right now. The red team did manage to get a nice little triple cap there for a second, and bled some nice points off of blue for a little while, but blue's pushing back pretty quickly. Looks like these Guardians are going to go in for a quick grenade on these Slugger boys. But they instantly retreat, not wanting to mess with those and the Warp Spider, who looks like he's upgraded his heavy gauge Death Spinner, which will be good for the War Boss, but not so much for the Chaos Lord. I don't believe it actually stops him from moving around at all. However, it will knock over the War Boss in a kind of awkward way. Looks like Bugs is going to get this power after all. Pushed back up nice and quickly. That's the bad part. Blue team's moving around very well and managing to cause some nice damage as they move in a pile, but each time they move to one side of the map or the other, they are ceding map control on that side of the map. So ultimately they have a bit of a VP advantage, so that's not too bad so long as they can manage to get some good model kills in here. And these Chaos Marines need to get out of there. There they go. I wasn't sure if he was going to try to stay in and melee those Banshees. Maybe without the support of the Shuriken Cannon, they would have pulled it off since they had a second squad firing there. But ultimately having to get out while they can. Now the red team's catching up and moving into Tier 2 themselves. All the power farms kind of doing pretty well except for this one over here. That did get bashed, and it looks like Bugs is not ready to give it up without a fight. You can see he doesn't want that going back up. The Scouts are going to take that, and the Assault Marines moving on over into the center with Adila. The War Boss now has his Power Claw, getting some angry bits as well, and the Weird Boy on the field Oh, looks like those Assault Marines jumped right out of that Warp Vomit. They did get stunned, but it worked out pretty well because they got their jump out anyways. The War Boss a bit too far up, and the Shuriken platform now going to be able to suppress the rest of that Orc army. Oh, a shot by the Weird Boy doing some nice damage to the Assault Marines, but also his own Big Shooter squad. And now the Chaos Lord is moving in on his own from the left side here. He's gotten his Armor of the Inferno, which gives him the Let the Galaxy Burn ability, which is everyone's favorite. As we know, it fires 3 big nasty fireballs that do some knockdown and some great AoE damage as well. Excellent use of worship, getting these Chaos Marines up and around the Shuriken cannon. It ultimately had to retreat as soon as he saw that Let the Galaxy Burn hit. He knew that he had to get out of there before he lost it. You can see some leaders happening on both of these Eldar squads for Adila right now, and some Wraith Guards coming on the field. An excellent choice considering that both players have a pretty heavily range-based army. Both all the massive firepower pretty much coming from the Weird Boy shooters and these 2 upgraded already with Mark of Tzeentch and an aspiring champion on both of these Chaos Space Marine squads. So that's really some nasty range damage, but the suppression from the Shuriken and these Wraith Guards are going to be able to deal with that pretty well. All Adila really has to worry about is keeping those big nasty melee heroes away from those range squads, and they should be able to do pretty well. In the meantime, let's take a look at Bug's forces, already getting himself a Plasma Devastator and a Razorback onto the field right now. So getting him some nice artillery. Looks like he's going to move that into center and try to lock down this center point right now. And some Artificer armor on that Force Commander, giving them some nice tankiness and durability. Plasma Dev not quite hitting spot on, but knocking back a few of those Tzeentch Inferno-bearing bolters there. And it looks like the Chaos Lord is tired of those. He's going to go ahead and move in there. Plasma Dev has to fall back. And blue team doing a good job of keeping the VPs in their favor, or at least neutral for right now. Still holding a 100-point advantage. The Chaos Lord doing a good job of keeping this Force Commander down right now. No Tier 2 purchase as far as squads for Happy right yet. Looks like these guys aren't quite capping the victory point, unfortunately. And ultimately, Divinity floating all kinds of requisition. I don't know if he's planning to go straight into Tier 3 or whether he just not getting anything else in Tier 2 or missing his macro there. Yep, there he goes into Tier 3 right now. The Wraith Guard's on the field. You can see one volley scared those Space Marines right off, and the Banshees, without the Space Marines having any support, is going to easily scare off those Tzeentch Space Marines for the Chaos side. Plague Marines coming onto the field as well. Gonna try to deal with this Razorback nice and quickly before it causes any trouble. Allowing a troop transport to stay on the field in a team game is definitely a hassle. Allowing both armies to reinforce off of it wherever it's at can definitely be a pain. And the blue side, unable to keep their natural power at this point. They had a nice power advantage early on from capturing the red side's power, the natural power over here, while it had 3 generators, but falling a bit behind now. Even though they are in Tier 3, they haven't really made much in the way of Tier 2 power purchases. So Divinity moving into Tier 3 rather quickly, probably going to speed tech into some knobs or maybe a looted tank right now since there's not much AV on the field. But all they really need to worry about is... oh, and the Plasma Dev protecting that point just as he... Oh no, but it did knock the Chaos Lord out from under that grenade. A bit unfortunate there. And the Warboss just charging into the Shuriken Cannon. Oh, the Weird Boy not being able to hit his target. This little kind of ventilation shaft here. Preventing both the Weird Boy and the Plasma Dev from hitting their desired targets. And meanwhile, Assault Marines and a Razorback moving in from over here, but the Plague Marines do have an excellent line of sight on that. The Force Commander is going to try to do something about that. Oh no! One more missile from those Plague Marines, and that Razorback is going to be toast. He needs to make sure he keeps it. Oh no, they did fire right before the Force Commander got another shot off. It is out of control, careening right into that gap between, and looks like it's going to hit that power generator. Boom! There it goes. And another good hold from the red team right there. An autarch drop just hit. Looks like it didn't cause much in the way of model losses, but hurt those 2 squads of Tzeentch Marines pretty badly. Divinity still floating lots of resource here. I guess holding out for the 100 power either for knobs or a tank at this point. Really, all that All that the blue team has to do is deal with these Wraith Guards and that artillery at this point. This Plasma Dev over here, and they should be fine to take some points here. You can see the Force Commander's finished his loadout with an Iron Halo and the Thunder Hammer. That Thunder Hammer is going to shred right through. Oh my goodness. There goes one Heretic already, and the splash damage doing some nice AoE to that squad of Heretics. They just won't be able to stand up to that Thunder Hammer right now with its current splash damage. Weird Boy knocking over the Shuriken Cannon, but not going to be able to capture that point with the Plasma Dev firing nice artillery shots into him and knocking him back over and over again. The Shuriken Cannon should probably get out of there, though. Oh no, and once again that ventilation shaft, having just a slightly raised surface, is interfering with that Plasma Dev shot. Very unfortunate because it should be able to defend that point from that position. Scouts went down for bugs everywhere, and he is now moving into Tier 3 along with his teammate. And it looks like the War Boss hanging out in the middle with his Angry Bits and Power Claw. Not seeing anything on the field again yet for him. He's got plenty of resource. I don't know what he's waiting for here. 150 power and almost 800 rec. He's in the lead. He needs to take advantage of that Tier 3 that he has right now that none of the other players have acquired and get something on the field. So the blue team's still been managing to hold the map pretty well. Looks like these Wraith Guards, the Altark and the Banshees, going to be probably too much for this Weird Boy to handle. Oh, there's the heavy gauge filament knocking over that Weird Boy. He needs to get out of there. Those Banshees coming in on him. There he goes. He's out of control. Very unfortunate. You need to really pull that Weird Boy back immediately as soon as he gets in trouble. He may not have realized that heavy gauge filament was on him. And the red team getting another nice power bash in right here. Blue team managed to rebuild their power farm on the other side, but this one's going to go down right now. It looks like Orc not in a position to get out there before this power farm goes down. Those Wraith Guards and Banshees shred it pretty quickly. So really what he needs to do right now is use Angry Bits and get in on these Wraith Guards before... There he goes. They take any shots. Slugger Boys gonna do a pretty good job here. Doesn't look like they have a knob though, unfortunately. Oh, nice Wraith Guard shot, but both players decide that their melee squads are too low to continue that fight. Too much risk on both sides. These Shooter Boys in a bit of trouble. Yep, those Wraith Guards fire and scare them right off. Red team gonna be able to hold that point, and a 2-0 cap right now. They need to do something about that on the blue side, or they're gonna even out very quickly. Plague Marines on the center point, but getting approached by the Warp Spider and his forces right now. A nice grenade on top of those Plague Marines, and there it goes, taking that Plague Squad down to about half HP, and they're going to get out of there before they lose any models. They're not going to be able to push anything off, so there's no point in pointless loss right now. Shuriken Planet, again, taking up a nice defensive position on this central point. Going to be able to shut down these Shooter Boys right away if they move in a little bit closer. Wraith Guard's going to turn around and fire a volley right into it. Ooh, that was ugly. Knocked out several boys. And oh my goodness, looks like Divinity finally put all that resource to use and got himself an Orc battle wagon on the field. This awkward, goofy excuse for a Orc super unit right now lumbering onto the field. I love this thing. It's just entirely ridiculous and looks even more so in all white. So taking a look at the top, we got the Chaos Lord just tanking away up here, knocking Space Marines down to the ground all over the place, but that Predator is going to be more than he can deal with right now. And with everyone into Tier 3, all those Tier 3 units are coming onto the field. Battle Wagon going to scare the Predator away. And meanwhile, artillery setting up in the back, trying to give the army, Space Marine army a little bit of support and probably break down this power farm while we're at it. Space Marines pretty nice with the Flamers, trying to get a power harass in there right now, but I think at this point they'd probably do better to go ahead and get some plasma upgrades on that. Scouts coming on the field for bugs everywhere, probably more for the point of keeping this Predator healthy than any sort of, map control at this point in the game. Although the red team does need a bit of that. They are a bit behind on the points. A nice Let the Galaxy Burn, knocking those Banshees down and allowing the rest of the army to move in on these Wraith Guard. And they are getting pushed back here. So Blue's been kind of making better concentrated pushes when they both get out there. The red team kind of been getting pushed back when they try to move in one at a time here. But the blue team now securing the middle victory point again. Meanwhile, Adila has been doing a great job of just constantly harassing these backline points with his Eldar forces, but these Guardians do need to be very careful as they have Sluggaboys on them right now. It doesn't look like Adila sees that at all, unfortunately. It does look like he's trying to move back now, but again, that Slugga knockdown was tearing into that Warlock, and the Guardians have to get out of there. Meanwhile, the Battle Wagon just clogging this choke point up top here. Those Space Marines need to be careful. That volley, a volley from the Wraith Guards, and then the Banshees moving in is going to be quite a problem. Meanwhile, the War Boss and the Battle Wagon up front just taking a lot of damage, tanking a lot of stuff right there. Those Heretics need to get in. Oh, there they go. They do finally take out that Warlock for the Wraith Guards and chase them off the map. They might not get out of there, actually. They're very low. Oh, the Shuriken Cannon suppresses everything just in the nick of time. The Wraith Guards at a mere 90 HP. A few more swings and that would have been it. Adila's bringing on an Avatar for his Tier 3 Eldar army. So we'll have a couple super units on the field right now to balance that out for both the red and the blue team. And Knob's coming on the field for Divinity. Divinity made a nice quick tech, made a Tier 2 purchase of a Weird Boy, which did unfortunately go down. And now just spamming out some Tier 3 Orky power. Altar kind of moved in a bit prematurely there without the support of the rest of the army. Took a shot from that Battle Wagon and then got suppressed by the Shooter Boys, having to get the heck out of there. And these scouts, oh no, they need to get back very quickly. These Siege Marines, gotta make very short work of them. Meanwhile, the Battle Wagon's just kiting around trying to do some damage, pulling this Avatar way out of position. Needs to be very careful considering there's two probably rather high-level Siege squads, level 2 and level 3 right now. Oh, the Chaos Lord just stands in the middle of that Wailing Doom and takes it. Does retreat afterwards, though. And a lot of damage falling onto that Avatar. And we can just see a lot of carnage happening in the field. Icon of Khorne right there. Kane, sorry, I always say Khorne and Kane there. Tend to mix me up. A Chaos Predator on the field, and just stuff happening everywhere. This is exactly what I expected to see in this center point. Just you can see the Plasma Devs just firing at whatever it can in the middle here. Trying to knock those knobs down and keep them away from that Shuriken platform. And the Force Commander just charging in, whacking away at Chaos Marines with his Power Fist. Switching back to the Thunderhammer right now. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. He probably should try to use that Power Fist and whack away at this Predator. It needs to be very careful moving in on that Space Marine Predator, though, because it is upgraded with a las cannon, doing a bit more damage to that Pred. One more shot. I think it's going to get it. It's in range. Oh, there it goes. Out of control, unfortunately. This Battle Wagon still harassing the Eldar front line. Slug is behind it, healing it up constantly, but with the Wraith Guard and the Banshees there, it needs to be very careful. Gonna go ahead and load up and roll out. A bit awkward, though. Those Slugger Boys got... Oh, no! The Wraith Guard doing a bit of damage to the friendly fire on those Banshees. And they need to get out there because Let the Galaxy Burn hits. Plague Marines hitting that Predator once again, trying to keep the vehicles out of the center. And the Chaos Lord just charging the Eldar front line, eating a face full of Shuriken fire at point-blank range. Looks like he's going to be able to take it, but he needs to be very careful, moving in very close. There he goes. He gets out of there. And looking back to this side of the map, you can see the Assault Marines getting very low. This Battle Wagon actually proving to be rather useful, just kind of rolling around in the center and shooting cannon bursts, into all kinds of stuff. But that Laspred is doing a number on its armor right now. Wraith Guard's moving in as well. It needs to fall back. Really just a big, nasty ranged pile here. You can see two Shooter Boys and two squads of fully upgraded... Oh no, the Autarch fell extremely quickly there. Just as I was saying how nasty this big pile of ranged power was right here. They unfortunately don't have anything to deal with this Predator right now, but they could probably focus down this Avatar if it moves too far up on its own. Another Wailing Doom coming down right there, but not doing too much. And the Plague Marines are now up to deal with that Predator. That Predator is going to go ahead and move back and try to stay out of harm's way as best it can. Avatar's moving in on one of these ranged squads, and we have a boom shot going off. Oh, unfortunately, it kind of just hit in the middle and didn't do anything. Meanwhile, this Pred is tearing into all these tactical marines, combined with the Avatar and the Banshees, the artillery in the back, and the Shuriken up front, keeping stuff suppressed. The red team's done a pretty good job of just locking down this central area. Unfortunately, the Warp Spider looks like he did go down at the bottom of the map. You can see right here, hanging out with the Warballs, trying to decap some points there. Didn't quite do it. Here comes yet another Let the Galaxy Burn, taking care of those suppression guns. That Shuriken's in a bit of trouble. Looks like it'll get out of there, though. And the Chaos Lord, very low on HP, got pounded by that Plasma Dev, and it looks like one more shot. Oh, there he goes. Las Cannon Tank drops him with its final shot. Meanwhile, if he just inched up a little bit, he'd be able to start taking some shots at this Orc Battle Wagon. It's just out of range of the Plasma Devastator, unfortunately. Meanwhile, it looks like Terminators were called in by Mr. Bugs everywhere and scaring off this big mean war boss. Unfortunately, with Banshees, a Force Commander, and Terminators, he's not going to be able to deal with all of that on his own. However, we do have some nice, fully upgraded knobs on the field, whacking away at that Force Commander. Oh, and there he goes. Those Banshees, I don't believe, will be able to deal with that on their own. They need to be very careful. Oh, the Altar goes down immediately, and they have to get out of there right away. The Terminators are falling back, don't want to get mixed up out of position, as, of course, they can't retreat. And one hero down for both sides now. Adila had to buy back. Oh, those Wraith Guards taking some nasty damage, but unfortunately, the combined of suppression and this Plasma Devastator just pounding these three squads right here, the two Siege Marines and the Plague Marines. So all the players right now just having a really nice force. No one's really lost a lot, and just a lot going on. A phase shift here in the center, not quite sure why. Possibly, he's got the red. Oh, there goes the Eldritch Storm. And a bit too late. I think it should have been about a second sooner, but he does nail this Siege Marines, and the Plague Marines are also very low. Oh my goodness, a mere 20 HP. These Terminators could move up and kill, maybe could have teleported to the left here and finished off that squad, but didn't quite get up there. You don't want them to be out of position right now anyways, especially with the Las Cannon and the Knobs and Battle Wagon moving into position here. Again, that Plasma Dev up here just being a constant source of annoyance to the blue team. They really need to try to take care of that. It's been knocking back units and causing damage all over the place. Even if it's not killing much, this disruption alone has been worth the investment on that. Kind of a ways to jump on those Assault Marines jumping in on the point like that. But here comes another boom shot from that. Oh, and again, just not quite hitting its target. This Battle Wagon's been a little off with its boom shots right there. Firing that main cannon blast into the center, kind of getting caught again on these weird little air vents on this structure here. Siege Marines moving in, but losing some members to that Predator tank, just trying to get those Assault Marines off of the point. Blue team still having about a 100-point VP advantage, which they've managed to keep throughout most of the game. A nice-looking Wailing Doom hitting both of those Knob squads. Wow, really smashing the one, dropping them down to 3 members and very low HP. And the other Knob squad up there taking shots from that Predator. But, oh man, it is in a bit of trouble. He really needs to get in there and put a stop to them. 1 or 2 more swings from that hammer. Oh, and the Assault Marines jump in at the very last possible second to save that Pred. It escapes narrowly once again. And those Knobs had to get out of there. Meanwhile, we can see the Eldar moving in on this Battle Wagon. Those Wraith Guard causing some pretty severe damage. Finally getting engaged in melee by some Siege Marines. The Warp Spider getting himself a couple siege kills as well. Again, a nice phase shift to prevent that capture by the blue team. Excellent play right there, saving them some time. And unfortunately, the Siege Marines are going to get a cap in here. But not a bad play at all. Did manage to at least delay. Once you're down to under 100 victory points, every second counts. And the Force Commander looks like he's put the stop to the War Boss up here. Doesn't look like he's quite going to be able to deal with this Chaos Lord, though. Chaos Lord healing with every hit, but the Force Commander having a shield and his nice Artificer armor regen. It'll be interesting to see who comes out of this battle in one piece. So, I don't want to focus just on this, but I'm curious to see who wins that fight. Another boom shot going off. Again, it looks like he hit the death roller as well accidentally. And the Force Commander did retreat. I just wanted to check on that and see who won that epic battle there. A bit of a duel between heroes. And the Plasma Devastator and the Avatar again knocking that War Boss off of the center point. He's going to have to get out of there with that Shuriken setting up as well. And the Avatar moving up into position, firing off yet another Wailing Doom, smashing those Slugger Boys pretty much. The Slugger's pretty much just hanging out with this Battle Wagon, trying to keep that healthy. It's been doing a great job of support, just hanging out in the back and firing shots into the masses of troops here. Those Wraith Lords and Shuriken platform keeping that War Boss at a standstill, essentially. Meanwhile, the Assault Marines jumping in on the range power. These knobs need to hit Frenzy. There they go! And instantly cause 2 squads of upgraded knobs will cause a lot of retreat from your opponent at any given time. Not choosing to try to finish off those units. And it looks like some Noise Marines on the field. A curious purchase for Happy here. You don't generally see Noise Marines late game. I'm not sure if he intends to upgrade those for artillery. Oh, another Altark drop. Oh, and wiped out that Havoc Las Cannon squad. And an Orbital Bombardment on the center. Again, Red Team doing everything they can to hold on to these VPs here at the end. Bugs everywhere, also bringing a Land Raider onto the field, which will allow everyone to... Oh no, get that Altark, it's very low. 4 HP. Oh, it does get out of there, it looks like. As I was saying, Land Raiders may make a big difference here for the center, allowing players to reinforce off of that, of course, and being a very nice weapons platform itself. This Chaos Lord needs to get out of there, though. Oh, and the Las Predator once again takes out the Chaos Lord. That's 2 Chaos Lord kills for that Las Pred. And it looks like the War Boss is going to pick him right up, though. That Force Commander is just running around tanking damage and just doing a heck of a job trying to hold this point. That Las Pred needs to back up from that War Boss with his Power Claw. He decides he's going to get the heck out of there and charges out with his Angry Bits. These 2 squads of Siege Marines both look like they're level 4 right now, so doing some very crazy damage, fully upgraded with those Infernal Bolters, doing lots of damage to everything right now. And really hammering that Avatar right now. Oh, and we can see a nice looking Imperial Abyss right now, pulling in a couple attacks. The Terminators did get out though. And both players just hammering this center point with every possible option they have to keep the enemy from holding on to it. It's still anyone's game. There's a lot on the field for both players. Nice shot by the Weird Boy, knocking over all those Wraith Guard. Oh no, the Warlock goes down, stunning the Wraith Guard a little bit. They're in a bit of trouble. I don't think they're going to get out. No, they do not get out in time. The 2 squads of Orc Knobs make short work of those on retreat. Not much they could do about that. And it looks like they're just going ahead moving in. A nice looking Rock Strike. Oh, the Predator's backing right into it. Can't quite get around that Land Raider. Oh no, it may get out of there. It looks like it's stuck. Oh, and 2 last rocks, little pebbles, finish it off. Oh my goodness, that was very unfortunate. He probably had a better chance of just moving it forward. He had the Terminators and Assault Marines up here. That Predator probably would have been all right in the middle here, but unfortunately that big fat Land Raider wasn't allowing it to get out of place here. You can see the Noise Marines did decide to upgrade to the Blastmaster, giving them a nice Plasma Dev-esque artillery shot now. And just lots of chaos happening. You can see, looks like Adila's just trying his damnedest to get rid of this Orc Battle Wagon that's just been on the field for quite a while. I questioned the purchase of this originally when it first came on the field in Tier 3, but it's turned out to be quite an excellent purchase, really paying for itself, and constantly harassing this middle point here. You can see there's some nice use of that heavy gauge filament, knocking down that War Boss and forcing him off of the map. The Altarks, meanwhile, gotten her fusion gun and trying to chase around this battle wagon. I'm not sure where the shooters are to take care of this. They're kind of just hanging out down here by themselves to watch this bottom point, I suppose. And the Land Raider is on the field now, providing a nice forward base, essentially, for the red team. So we'll see if that ultimately helps them hold that middle point and finally get these VPs down. Meanwhile, both squads of Siege Marines taking this top point, but a Plasma Dev shot right into the middle of them, knocking them all right off. He could probably just split them up and move them in on this Plasma Dev. It only has 2 members. It is level 3, however. That's the one that's been in middle just hammering stuff, but those Inferno Bolters will make short work of it. Hopefully, yes, it looks like bugs everywhere. It does see it. They did manage to get one model, but it does escape. Looks like Happy's gone ahead and brought himself a Guo, so now we have a super unit on the field for all 4 players in all 4 races right now. So that's pretty cool. A big, nasty, epic battle happening in the middle here. Oh, nice! Oh, a Wailing Doom just annihilated that weird boy. He had just recently been brought onto the field and once again goes down, unfortunately. The Autarch had to jump out of there real quick. The Knobs and Warboss scaring her off with nice efficiency there. Another nice shot from the Avatar, knocking down all those people. And it looks like the Death Roller is activated again, possibly knocking those Banshees over as they tried to approach it. Pretty good use there. Didn't really roll it around, but a good defensive use of that ability. Meanwhile, the Knobs rolling in. This Shuriken Cannon needs to be focusing on these Knobs instead of those Shooter Boys. Suppress them and force them to pop their frenzy, if nothing else. Now it's in a bit of trouble. They got too close before they got suppressed, and it may get out of there. Yep, it looks like it just barely escaped. That Avatar very low as it looks right now, and the Land Raider just hanging out up top. The Chaos Lord kind of wasting his time whacking away at that, really. I feel like he could probably be used better elsewhere. Nice shot of Kill the Weak just to save his butt there at the end. And the Goa just kind of stomping around, being a big gross demon up top, but finding himself a bit out of position against all this Space Marine goodness right here. Oh, the Plasma Dev finally doing a little bit of friendly fire there on his own teammates' Guardians. They're rushing out of there with fleet of foot to get away from those Knobs, trying to fall back to this Land Raider and get a little bit of support there. Meanwhile, the blue team taking the red team perilously close to their doom here with a mere 40 VPs remaining. The blue team's just been doing an excellent job of map control right now. Throughout the game, they've really just been keeping these VPs very well. These 2 Shooter Boys have been watching over this bottom VP. And once again, scaring away this suppression platform. But it looks like Adila brought a little extra with him this time instead of just sending 1 lone squad to take it. And looks like Divinity is forced back once again. Oh, the Assault Marines jump in but found themselves a bit out of position. Luckily, they can just fall right back to that Land Raider and get back into the fight here. That Guo has to be a little bit careful right now. Plasma Dev firing right into the mass of those Siege Marines. Oh, and a brutal shot right there. Oh, he didn't have to fall back with all of that. They may have been accidental. He probably just meant to pull back the 1 wounded squad. His Guo is unfortunately very out of position right now. I think he needs to pull that back while he can. The Force Commander's taken this point. And still anyone's game. Lots of stuff on the field. The Force Commander again switching back to the Power Fist. He's been going back and forth between the Fist and the Thunderhammer throughout the game. Always good to see some nice war gear swapping. And it looks like that Guo is just not going to be able to get out of there. Way too much on him. There he goes. Very unfortunate that mass retreat by Happy. Hopefully that was accidental and not intentional, because if it was, that just cost him a nice Guo. I guess either way it's unfortunate. But the Force Commander getting knocked right into the squad of Knobs and the Weird Boy, but oh, the Noise Marines knocking them over. May have just cost him losing that kill on the Force Commander. Again, oh, that getting knocked into the Avatar right now by his own Noise Marines, unfortunately. And a Fire Prism now on the field as well. Just everything you can think of. 2 squads, actually, of Plasma Devastators. 1 watching the top point and 1 watching the center point. Really, the red team's struggling to hang on here, but they do have the points, which is really the important part. The War Spider, again, using a nice Fate Shift to buy some time. That Avatar is going to move over here and try to get that center point. Chaos Lord does have to get out of there. Shuriken platform moving in to suppress these Knobs and other melee squads. Meanwhile, it looks like the Warboss with his heavy armor, plenty of HP, just going to go ahead and take this point. Under all kinds of fire. He needs to be careful. Hopefully he doesn't lose that. And again, this Plasma Dev has just been a constant source of annoyance to both sides. This fire prism looks like it took some quick fire right there. It needs to move out before these knobs get in on it. There they go, switch to the wide beam and knocking them right over. The red team down to just a few points. They need to get this VP back and do something about this bottom one as well if they can't hold middle right now. Blue team's been doing a good job of making little focus strikes on either side here to try to keep the red team from having any sort of VP advantage. Banshee's just standing in front of the Noise Marines. They need to rush in here right now and do everything they can to keep this center point from getting set up. Oh man, there's just so much on the field. It really depends on whoever can take the next battle here, I think, in the center. I mean, you can do some nice ninja capping, but both players have so much on. All four players really have so much on the field at this point. No one's really lost too much in the way of squads, and just massive stuff happening everywhere. So you can see it looks like Happy's decided to go ahead and make a push onto the top VP, but that Land Raider, the Terminators, and one of the Plasma Devs doing a nice job of holding that down pretty well. I think they should just go for a concentrated push into middle and deal with that. The Death Roller going off on that nice looking battle wagon, not war truck. That's much bigger than a war truck. And now just lots of artillery in the center. You can see a D cannon, a fire prism artillery tank, and two plasma devs just all firing into the middle here. Just not going to be able. Blue team's not going to be able to capture that, I don't think. But uh-oh, it looks like we have a singularity getting launched into the center there. Oh, and there go the knobs. Oh, unfortunately, he caught his ally's force commander as well. And looks like Bugs everywhere has decided to come into the middle and help deal with that. Points are ticking down for the blue team very quickly. Looks like some Guardians down here getting shredded. Or the Warp Spider Exarch is actually down there trying to hold out against those Shooter Boys and capture that point. But, oh no, all this artillery just shredding into blue. And that's the game. They weren't able to get the VPs back. Wow, that was just back and forth the entire time. Red team really pulled it together at the end. And really, what are you going to do against this artillery was just excellently spread out. One on the left, one in the center, one over here. And just with this Land Raider and the Space Marines at the end of the game, it's just so hard to counter. If you can't break that Land Raider, they can just keep reinforcing off of that. This game lasted so long that everyone just had an abundance of resource. Let's just take a look at this real quick. I mean, everyone having sizable armies. The Eldar and the Chaos kind of lost a lot there right at the end. You can just see piles of bits and what's left of Chaos forces here in the middle after he lost that Guo. But everyone having sizable armies at the end and just lots of resource to do with it. Unfortunately, the blue team just couldn't hold a VP. A phase shift is what happened down here by the end of that War Spider. That phase shift, you can see coming down to only 11 points. So that phase shift in the middle and down here at the end, protecting those points, actually won them the game when it comes down to it. So excellent play by all sides. Again, just seeing, you always love the middle point in these team games because it's just wrecked by the time it gets to anything. And just good play all around. 3 of the 4 super units are still standing and have been on the field for generally 15 or so minutes. So that was just a fun game to watch. Lots of carnage. I'll stop rambling. That's enough from me. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the game. This is Red-Rupee signing off. I'll catch you guys next time.